Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, gang? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Flying solo as of the moment. I think Jacob will be joining us shortly. I know Tim is busy tonight. Emilio may be on a little bit later as well. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully everybody had an awesome Monday. Sucks that it wasn't a victory Monday, but hey, we'll get through, right? We got a lot of stuff to dive into with this game, this tough loss against the Browns. We're going to hit the PFF grades tonight. We'll also hit a little bit of league news if we have time as well, man. Injuries all across the league, and important injuries at that. One that's going to kind of affect the Packers' next matchup that they've got coming up here, going down to Jerry World to play the Dallas Cowboys, and then the other, one of the better pass rushers in the league. But before we dive into all of that, and specifically the PFF grades, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff for me, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We are fans just like you, talking Packers on the dailies. I know we got a lot of new subs that were commenting last night on the post-game show. So we do pre-game shows, post-game shows, film breakdown. Tomorrow we will be breaking down a Chalk Talk episode and highlighting the top 10 or 12 plays from that Cleveland Browns game, kind of showing you what happened, why did it happen, maybe the more important plays. It's easy to get kind of lost in the shuffle of everything, right? You watch every snap of that game. I've made 2 passes through now on the all-22, and you get a pretty good idea of what happened, but you really can boil it down to typically anywhere from 8 to 15 plays that you go, wow, these played a huge role in the outcome of the game. And in some cases, like we're going to talk about tomorrow, there's really about 2 or 3 plays that decided that game, which is really, really wild that you have so many snaps in an NFL game and it come down to just 2 or 3 plays that determines the outcome. But anyway, that's what we're going to be hitting tonight, and we appreciate everybody hanging out with us for this, like I said, this Monday edition of PTA. I know the chat is already lit up. Appreciate y'all hanging out in here with us this evening as well. Gang, I love the chat too, man. Everybody pretty positive, other than AFAM. AFAM looks like he's ready to, I guess, cut everybody loose, it sounds like. But it's good to see everybody in the chat. Let's dive into the PFF grades first here, okay? Now, I didn't want to get too deep into it until Jacob joined us, but we'll go ahead and jump in here, okay? So obviously this so far in this young 2025 season, this is the floor for the Packers, right? They graded out as a team overall 60. Offensive grade was a 49.8. Guys, I don't think we had an offensive grade that bad last year. And you hear me say that, you probably think, oh, no, the sky's falling, right? I kind of say it in a positive manner. We lost this game by 3 points, and our offense graded out a 49.8. We lost by 3 points on the road as well. And I know people were quick to say, well, it's the Browns, though. It's the Browns. You didn't hear this guy saying it's the Browns early in the week, because any given Sunday, anything can happen. And I actually had somebody reach out to me and say, Clayton, I know you don't give gambling advice, but I took your advice. I'm like, I didn't give you gambling advice. He said, no, you made it abundantly clear to take the 7.5 points in Cleveland, because that's just how the league operates. Now, I like to wait until the game gets going and maybe Cleveland goes down by a field goal, which they did, and you can get that at somewhere around +10, +10.5 type line. That's typically how I do live betting when I'm putting action on the game. But again, the point here is, have we learned our lesson yet? Not people in our chat. I'm just saying in general, the Packers fan base, like, you can't overlook these games. You just can't. Not that whether I'll overlook them or anyone else does makes a difference. I understand that. But as a fan base, you can't come in on Monday and act like the sky's falling when this stuff happens every single year. We talked about last night, and we got Jacob joining us now. Going into the season, last year I had us between 10 and 13 wins. I think we finished with last year. It was 10. Was it 10 or 11 wins, Jacob? Was it 11? I'm thinking right.
I thought it was 11.
Yeah, I think it was 11. Regardless, that's kind of where I had us. You might want to check your mic for me too, Jacob. It sounded a little low there, man. But this year we're coming into the season saying 11 to 14 wins. I'm still there. And you go, how can you say that, Clayton? They just lost to the Browns. Because I had them splitting week 1 and week 2, right? I had them winning one of those 2 games. So we're still sitting at 2-1 where I thought we would be. And here's what's cool: if you go down into Dallas and you pull out a win there, and again, that ain't going to be a slam dunk. I'm already seeing people say, "Do you see what the Bears did to their defense? Man, we should torch them, guys." Every week is a different ball game. Every week is a different game plan. Every week is a different 4-game saturation of tape that these opposing coaches are looking at. They're going to try to make us play left-handed, right? And we're going to do the same to them. So I don't think it's a slam dunk. Would I be surprised if the Packers won by 20 points? No. I also wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys won by 10. That's the NFL. But the point is, if you can go down there and get a win in Dallas, you're 3-1. You break the season down into quarters. Now you got a +1 after the 4 quarters of the season. And when you look up, if you can go 3-1 on every quarter of the season, you're going to look up at the end of the year, and what are you going to have? You're going to have a 12-win season, and you're going to be one of the top teams in your conference. So there's no reason to hit the panic button. What's awesome is, I'll tell you another positive out of this, with this offensive grade being a 49.8, boy, there's plenty to coach on this week. Plenty to coach on. Now, who's to blame, right? We kind of talked about the post-game show. Some people were saying Jordan Love's to blame. I can't disagree with that. Some are saying Matt LaFleur and the decision to go out there and throw the ball when I felt like you should have ran it. I can't disagree with that. Also, another thing with Matt LaFleur, why did you march Zach Tom out there knowing he talked all week about not being right? You know, that's another thing you could throw into there, right? The one thing you can't blame is the defense, although I will say they had a chance to get that stop at the end of the game and keep the Browns out of field goal range, and they weren't able to do it. And the play call, by the way, we called a lot of man coverage. You're going to see it on Chalk Talk. The play call on that particular play was we ran a cover 1 mock fire. So we actually blitzed with a cover 1 man look, and lo and behold, they pick up 8 yards, get in field goal range, spike it, which shout out to the refs, boy. Did they not get that ball snapped or set as quick? I mean, that was record time, Jacob. What do you think about that?
Don't even get me going, Clayton. Don't put a quarter in me like that. That's the fastest I've ever seen a ref set the ball in my life. And I would argue that it probably wasn't necessarily the way that they normally do. Whatever. It is what it is. You can't sit here and gripe that it's over. You got to look at it. You know, what I really respected about what Matt LaFleur went out today in his press conference, he didn't sit there and blame people. He literally absorbed everything. He absorbed all of it. He said, this was my fault. He talked about the decision to, in certain passing situations. He talked about how like you just referenced, bringing Zach Tom out there in general. He talked about how Jordan Love, when he made that pass, how they shouldn't have forced that issue in the third quarter. He said that was my fault for even putting Jordan, giving Jordan the option to do it. He says we should have just ran that clock out. I know that you've been, for whatever reason, raked over the coals certain Twitter posts, but that decision by X to intercept the ball, that wasn't the smart way to do that. That, you know what I mean? And so we just made some mental mistakes. The O-line, obviously, I don't know, man. It's weird.
Yeah. Your mic still sounds a little off, Jacob. It could be on my end, though. I don't see anybody complaining in the chat. If you'll just
check one more time. Does that sound better?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now you're sounding like the beast that you are, man. You and Tim got great radio voices. This guy right here, not so much. So, yeah, you sound good now. Anthony in the chat says, anything can happen in the game of football. I've coached many games where we were way better on paper and lost. It happens. Amen, man. It happens every week in the NFL. So, again, it doesn't mean you got it. You come in here and you're all happy about it, right? Nobody's happy as a fan today. But you're going to have one or two of these a year for sure. So, again, offensive grade 49.8, passing grade 62.7. Jacob, that pass blocking grade 15.5. That's got to be an all-time low for the Packers. I've never seen them be under. I don't even know if I've seen them be under a 40 before, much less under a 20 at a 15.5. And you know what? When you go back and watch the tape, I agree with it. Like, it was bad. It was real bad, man. So, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just, and I can't blame one player. I mean, I watched Belton make mistakes. I watched Elton make mistakes. I watched Morgan make his fair share and then some of mistakes. I watched Walker make mistakes. I mean, there really wasn't any. I mean, Banks, got out and it was just an all around kind of face in the mud type, game. And the one thing that I will say is that it was the first time again that we went on the road. We needed to get out there with the piss hot, and it just wasn't. And even if it was kind of the wrong type of momentum. Like, I felt like the guys seemed like they were motivated to play, but they were just kind of maybe making mental mistakes, which was even Micah Parsons, getting a couple offsides penalties. A guy that you would think that in those clutch situations are not going to be making those type of mental errors. And to your credit too, to what you're saying about going in next week, I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, you think that they're not exactly just focused on the fact that Micah Parsons is returning back to Dallas and that they just got whooped by the Bears and that they don't want us to come out here and make a statement. And they know that NFC East is looking pretty choppy depending on how, you know what I mean? I mean, those Chiefs wasn't it like a last second or I fell asleep before the end of the game, but I mean, they were in there, right? Like
Right.
it's not a gimme anymore in the NFC East. So it's like, we've got a lot of different components, other fan bases too. I mean, we forget the fact I've seen a lot of people really crapping all over Bisaccia and the Packers in general. Wasn't there like 3 games decided by blocked field goals yesterday? Like
Yeah,
it was
there was.
don't get me wrong, that's not normal, but it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yep. Receiving grade 64.7, run grade 55.1, run block grade 45.5. So the Packers continue to struggle in the running game there, blocking up front. Defensive, obviously defensively was the big positive for the Packers. 74.0, run defense grade of 74.6, tackle grade of 56.3, pass rush grade 84.5, coverage grade of 59.9, and a special teams grade, of course, 38.5. Had a bad day at the office there on special teams. Yeah, in terms of, I've seen people calling for Matt LaFleur's job. I heard him call into Sports Talk all day saying that he's on the hot seat. I'm like, guys, he's like top 20 all time in the history of the league in winning percentage. And he's now done it with 2 different quarterbacks. Because people, yes, he did that because of Aaron. Okay. Hey, he made the playoffs 2 years in a row with Jordan Love. He did not make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers his final year. So, it's wild how quickly we turn, because last week this was a Super Bowl team and Jordan Love's an MVP candidate. Now all of a sudden we're firing everybody. I just don't understand it. Now, am I saying that Bisaccia is untouchable? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. I can see the flaws. I know there's flaws there too. But to just all of a sudden, because you lose by 3 points on the road to a top 5, maybe even a top 3 defense. That's the thing people are missing too. I wouldn't be surprised if we go down into Dallas and we score 40 points. And now what are people going to be saying, Jacob? They're going to be saying, oh, yeah, see, that was just a fluke. Packers are the best team in the NFC. And I'm going to be over going, any given Sunday, that type of stuff can happen, both positive and negative. It's never as bad as you think it is. It's never as good as you think it is, right?
I don't know if you saw the Facebook groups today, but they were it was toxic, man. It was to the point where I unfollowed with certain groups because I couldn't do it anymore. Because it was like 50% of the fan base. And I'm just sitting here going, you guys are just insufferable. Like, yeah, was it a bad game? Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Dude, I've learned this, that Facebook is not for me with sports. It's the most it is just between the AI generated stuff. And then on top of that, the Facebook groups you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's just, and what do? Your only defense is to go in there and go, hey, you're wrong. Here's why you're wrong. And now you're pissing people off because you're dunking on them. It's like, there's no positive that comes out. There's no one wants to have a real grown-up conversation about football. It's just hot take after hot take is essentially what it is. So let's start with the positive here tonight before we dive into the offense. Okay. Defensively, things look pretty good, man. Kingsley Enagbare, let me see if I can get this zoomed in a little bit better for you guys. There we go. That's a little bit better for the old folks in the back. Kingsley Enagbare, only 15 snaps, but a 90.4. They seem to think he played really well, 90.5. I didn't notice him much on the tape, I'll be honest with you. Lucas Van Ness, I thought, looked solid. He had 30 snaps, 89.8. Guys, don't look now, but old LVN is having a season. He's up to a 74.2 now. Run defense grade 74.9, pass rush grade 65.4, tackle grade 76.6, and we have seen him drop into coverage. 4 snaps now they've dropped him into coverage. So LVN off to a pretty good start. Micah Parsons 82.1. I know he didn't have a sack yesterday, right? But still had a good game. Obviously drawing a lot of attention. So his PFF grade on the year so far 90.1 with a pass rush grade of 91.5. He's just, that's just steady Eddie right there.
That's what we paid for, you know?
Right.
Exactly what we paid for.
And then Quay Walker, how about this, man? Of all the nights for Tim to miss, man, Quay Walker, 66 snaps. They gave him an 81.0. So on the year, he's getting better every week according to PFF. 57.8, 64.3, 81.0. And what's awesome is the coverage grade, 71.9. The run defense grade, man, 80.1. You love to see it. So now on the season, Quay Walker is officially a 70.4. right now. So want to see him continue to string those together. And again, there's a contract that's been offered. It sounds like he's trying to negotiate and get a little bit more. He keeps playing like that. They may have to up that offer, you know. Kobe Wooden, 38 snaps, 76.2. That's a pleasant surprise. Isaiah McDuffie, I thought he flashed a couple times as well, especially in run
Absolutely.
defense.
Yep.
Yeah. 72.5 on 22 snaps with an 84.4 run defense grade. Rashawn Gary, 72.1. Obviously, he had 2 sacks in the game. Pass rush grade is 71.5. Tackle grade is 72.1. Xavier McKinney is 70.0. So that helps. Obviously, they've rated him out kind of low up to this point. Nazir Stackhouse only 10 snaps, but a 69.3. You love to see it. Nate Hobbs, he had a couple plays in that game. I didn't think he was horrible, but there was a couple plays where I'm like, bro, you gotta. And it wasn't like he was being maybe he was being lazy. I don't know. It seems like harsh words, but like there was one particular play where Edgerrin Cooper literally gets blocked in the back. It was one of their only explosive plays, a 38-yard run by Quinshawn Judkins. And you'll notice Nate Hobbs just kind of hangs out outside and all of a sudden, oh, crap, they're running up the middle. It's like, bro, we need more than that. And again, I don't think it was just him out there trying to be lazy. I just think he lost focus for a second. But other than that, though, I mean, they gave him a 66, which is tackle grade of 29.6, run defense grade of 63.7. Edgerrin Cooper, a 65.6 on 66 snaps. So pretty solid, man. Looks like Evan Williams had a bad day. What's crazy is other than that play, the 8 yards they got on the final play of that drive where they were able to spike it and kick the field goal, Evan Williams was in coverage, but you were trying to disguise a cover one blitz look, and he was off a little bit. So Njoku just got inside leverage, strong hands. I thought he played it as well as he could, but PFF seemed to be down on Evan Williams and Javon Bullard up to this point. So anything else you want to hit here on the defensive grades? I can click on any of these players, or what's your thoughts on those, man? We had, like I said, the defense played great football, I felt like.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's what makes it, I think, tough to swallow. Is that half of the ball, like you watched, it was just like, man, these guys are they're really giving it their all. And like us again, just being a road team, the first road game, we wanted the guys to come out absolutely excited. The defense seemed to meet that. Yeah, that's what Coach said earlier. They seem to kind of meet that test. And I think it's really encouraging to see guys like Colby Wooden in 76. You see Nazir. That's great. Most people look at a 69.3 and think, oh, that's great for him. You know what I mean? Being a rookie, stepping in. I thought Nate Hobbs played better. I would maybe push back a little bit on that, but it did seem like you said, there were certain plays where you're like, what? Why are you doing that right now? Got to ban these trolls here quick. Tyron Hopper only getting 3 snaps kind of surprises me, but then when I take a step back and realize that they can only have Quay and Edge out there basically every play. Javon Bullard, I liked what I saw out of him in run defense, but PFF didn't quite agree with that. Devontae Wyatt, have you touched on any sort of injury stuff yet, or?
I have not. No, what are you hearing on
Okay.
Wyatt? I'll block these.
And no, it's just I was listening to the Matt LaFleur press conference, and it was sounded like that he had to leave early, not early, but late in the game, I should say, before the game stopped. And obviously, we know what's going on with the offensive line injuries there, but it just, I don't know, man. It is a tough loss because I feel like the individual players, like obviously you look up there with Kingsley. Again, I didn't see him flash quite that much, but I did see Lucas Finesse, and I really am so proud of that dude because with all the kind of, with everything with bringing in Micah, and he never once said anything, but there was a little bit of whispers that things possibly were, he was a little disgruntled with his play, or maybe the fact that it would impact his play time. I mean, he's done nothing but go in there and absolutely, you see some now that when he's off a true edge, he's got some game to him. He's starting to get the hand swipes. He's starting to get some rips. And then also when they kick him inside, I'm just impressed at how well that guy can bull rush anybody. I don't care what you say. He can put you into the back of the pocket there, and very impressed with that. Like you talked about Isaiah McDuffie. It's, how can Hopper get on the field if McDuffie is making the type of plays that he's doing? Because it's tough to take him off the field. And again, it's a great problem to have. And then what can you say more about Rashawn Gary?
Yeah.
Isn't he the leader in the NFL in sacks right now, if I'm not mistaken?
Leads the league in sacks right now. That's great.
And obviously I believe that is a little bit to do with Micah Parsons, but I don't think it's as much as most people are saying, where it's just an automatic. I'm telling you guys, he came out of this offseason, he was a different type of dude. And I really do think it probably has more to do with how well Devontae Wyatt and LVN are playing, so that you have to pick your poison again, like we've talked about. And he seems like he is just ready to go, man. He's champing at the bit.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. Like we pointed out that two of his sacks, two of the 2.5 sacks he had coming into this game, happened with Micah Parsons on the bench. Right,
Right.
both of his sacks yesterday, Micah Parsons was on the field. Gary got chipped on one of those sacks. Tight end chipped him. He still beat the right tackle and gets the sack. The other one, he had kind of a jam front, if I remember correctly, and he just beats the guy inside real quick, and we had him kind of overloaded, if you will. So, but yeah, I think Rashawn Gary's playing great. The fact that he's such a good run defender, and now he's you're starting to see the sack numbers start to catch up. It is funny though, all the people that were saying I could care less about pressures, you need to hit home with sacks. Now he's hitting home with sacks, and you hear crickets. You don't hear them anywhere. They ain't well.
That's Anthony Nofke says the Gary Sucks crowd is awfully quiet right now.
Sure are, man. Sure are. And aren't we glad that the Packers did not listen to the media members who were saying ship Rashawn Gary and 3 first-round picks off for Micah Parsons? Could you imagine if Gary was leading the league in sacks in Dallas right now?
I would pull my own hair out. Another little thing I want to cover quick. Not so cool brings up who blocked the field goal. We kind of got I wouldn't say raked over the coals, but we got some criticism. Clearly the guy Matt LaFleur in his press conference today did say that he thought that Ward got a tip on that, and then the other guy did block it in the middle.
They both might have got it.
Yep. So
yeah, I actually tweeted out the video of it. We could look at it real quick. If we get dinged with the copyright here, guys, just know that the stream will come back up. I don't think it will because it's on Twitter, but let me see if I can pull it up here real quick because it's I had a really good view of it. I went and threw it together earlier. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
I won't go full screen. Maybe it's kind of counterproductive here. You won't be able to see it that well, maybe, but let's get it up on the screen here. Because to me, I personally do not see the guy diving into the frame, touching the football. It doesn't mean he doesn't, right? I don't see him, touching the ball. To me, it looks like the guy that Jordan Morgan's blocking. And Jordan Morgan had a rough day at the office. There's no two ways about it. Yeah. So we're going to go super slow motion here, all right? And let's see if we can pick it up here.
Slow motion.
All right, so I'll try to pause it right when he kicks it. So you see the guy diving in, right?
Ooh.
So right there is tough, right? Let's go. I don't know if he got a pinky on it or not, right? But you see Jordan Morgan here. That's the guy that gets the big paw on it, as you'll see as the ball connects. Bang, that's the guy who hits it. So maybe the guy diving off the edge did get a finger on it, but obviously the one who did get it, though, was the big guy in the middle for sure. Regardless, it's a block field goal. Now, there's some people saying the ball, it was too low of a trajectory, right? I heard people saying that. I don't know enough about kicking to determine whether or not it should have been 2 degrees higher or not. I do know this, though. If you get a little bit closer, you don't have to kick that thing as line drive, right? You could put a little more air under it. So there's plenty of blame to go around there. Who do you think blocked it there, Jacob, after we watched it?
I mean, I wish I could honestly break it down. I think that I think it's Ward that comes off the edge there. If he got it, he got the tip of a toenail kind of thing on there. And then obviously the big man in the middle is the one that got it. But like I said, Matt LaFleur seemed to think that he did get a little bit of it off the edge there. And he said, did the kicker exchange, did all that look all right to you? Matt said it looked all right. And that's, again, I'm not trying to throw Jordan Morgan under the bus, but it's a tough look when you got, 3 penalties, I believe. Most of them pre-snap penalties.
What's crazy is I think Rasheed Walker had either the same amount or more penalties than Jordan Morgan, but nobody's talking about that.
I was just going to say that, though.
Because Rasheed Walker wasn't a first-round pick. That's
exactly. Yep, exactly. And Matt even said to that point, he's like, that's on me. Again, him taking blame, which when you have a loss like that, you don't want your coach to go up there and just screw this guy didn't do his job. Matt took everything to the point where even one of the questions was, Matt, even though you're absorbing all of this, blah, 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 what can Jordan Love do better? But to go back, he actually said that, putting Jordan Morgan in 3 different starting positions in a game, that's on us. Like, that is not something that an NFL player should be expected to do and go out there and just play at a high caliber level. Like, that is, I hate saying it's blasphemy or anything like that, but it's like that, especially a guy that, like we've talked about how many times, that he is a true left tackle. That's what he's played his whole career. It's what he did in Arizona, even through high school. To ask him to come out there and just switch it up and just pretend like you're going to go against freaking Garrett and just that you're going to be able to just swap positions and just absolutely shut down arguably one of the best pass rushers in the history of the game. Like, we got to take a little slice of humble pie there.
Yeah, Respect Orange just has a special request here. He says
Just the tip, though.
right, it was just the tip that got blocked there. So, yeah. Now listen, there's plenty of blame to go around. The chalk talk is going to be a really interesting one because you could really boil it down to 3 plays. I think I got it at 12 because I wanted to show some of the key, the key breaks. So there's a couple positives in there, so it's not just going to be us getting in here and taking our medicine the whole time, right? There's some positives to take away as well, but for the most part, there's just a couple decisions by LaFleur, and he took ownership of them today. Like, why did Jordan Love throw that pass that got intercepted? That's what, it's weird because it looks like man coverage on the surface, but it's really a match look. And they had a double rat look underneath. And what they do is they pass those off underneath. So even though it's man coverage, he's going to pass that off, and you got a rat cover underneath that's going to dive bomb on that. When you watch it back, and granted, I'm sitting here with an air conditioner on my desk, right? Watching the tape for the second time through in an all 22 look. It's easy for me to go, boy, you had Tucker Kraft on that cross corner. But Jordan was just trying to make a play there. I just hate the fact that they were not able to move the ball all day long. I want you to come out there and run the rock, punt that thing away. And if they go the length of the field and score to tie it up, then hey, I can live with that. What I can't live with is trying to throw the ball there and obviously throwing an interception. So that's the tough part for me. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I like your username sucks times 10 or X10. He says, yeah, I was upset at Morgan, but then I realized it's the coaches who moved him around way too much. Not just him, but there's no continuity for our offensive linemen. And it's been tough. Yeah. He talked again. Matt LaFleur took ownership of even trying to put Zach Tom out there. And they asked, what was the mentality of that? And he said, well, we tried to simulate all through the week to try to get him ready. He goes, but there's just no comparison from a simulation to if you're going up against, again, one of the best pass rushers in the history of the league. And it just so happened to be on the very first play, his body told him, no, bro, you can't do it. And you watched him. Do you see him emotionally break down on the sidelines?
Who's that?
Zach Tom.
Zach Tom. Oh, yeah, it was pitiful, man.
I mean, when you say pitiful, I don't think you're saying that about him. I think you mean that just him being put in that position. I genuinely
felt bad for him.
That's what I'm saying. You could see in his eyes that like he gave his everything to be out there on the team, for the team, and the fact that he let him down in his eyes, I think, is what it was. That he literally, I mean, he was emotional, dude, and that broke my heart.
Yeah, definitely. Chase Green says, Clayton, how can we beat man coverage? Struggled last year to beat it. There's a multitude of ways you can beat man coverage. I like Matt LaFleur's approach at beating man coverage. You want to throw a lot of crosser concepts in there, right? Where you can kind of you basically anytime you face a cover one, a single high man coverage look, if you run crossers, whichever one the safety goes with, you should, because the corners are playing outside leverage, you should be able to hit the other guy that the safety doesn't go with underneath because of the outside leverage that's called. But to answer your question, Chase, it depends on what leverage they're playing with. And that's what makes it so difficult, right? It's not like, okay, it's man coverage, this beats that every time. Now, my answer is you want to come out in a balanced set, a dub set, 2x2, and have an outbreak beater and an in-break beater is the way I would approach it. So maybe a dog concept or a wolf concept or an outs concept, right? And then on the other side, maybe have a slot cross or something like that, or maybe a pivot with a dig that kind of simulates a wrap concept where they're both in breaking, showing outside looks. You can bend it out, break on the dig. You can bend it out, obviously, on the pivot. You maybe jab step in, pivot out, and then come back inside. So you've got on one side of the field, if they're playing outside leverage, you got in beaters, right? And if they're playing inside leverage, you got out beaters. That's the way I would approach it. But that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. When you're in the heat of the battle, you don't think about those things. And you'll notice that Jordan Love earlier in the game, the throw to Dontavion Wicks was a very similar call. Like it wasn't the Trey left look, like where he throws the pick. That was a Trey left look. And what I'm talking about is 3 targets to the left side. Okay, they were in the gun. So you had the tight end. This is inside out. Tight end and 2 receivers. So the call was tosser, cross corner. Okay, so you had a tosser concept where it's the 1 and the 2 are running slants. And then the 3, which was the Y, Tucker Kraft, is running a cross corner. That's a man beater. So what he's looking to do is get them to commit inside and then turn it into a corner route. Right. It's kind of a hybrid route. So in that situation, what did he do earlier in the game? He went to Wicks. right? He went to Wicks on the slant, and he threaded the needle, and they picked up like 16 yards, and that led to the touchdown that they scored there that we thought, man, that might be enough to put this thing away. So later in the game, what did he do? He came back to what worked earlier. They called a double wrap match, and that guy dive bombs on the route, and he didn't even read it. That's on Love there for not reading it.
Yeah.
But it's also on LaFleur for like, hey, you got to understand how the game's being played right now. Like you've got to know Joe Flacco was horrible. I mean, he
didn't look good, man.
Bro, he could not hit a bull in the ass with a mop. There was nothing within 8 yards of some of the receivers he was throwing down the field. So what's that tell you? I don't know why we kept blitzing him. Like I would have just brung 4, especially on that final drive. Just bring 4 and make him thread the needle with you having 7 in coverage. So when you blitzed, you gave Njoku inside leverage. So that's a little bit on Halfley on that call right there. You know, but again, that you can't blame the defense in this game. You just can't. So there's a lot of things, and I can't wait for Chalk Talk. We'll be able to break it down a lot more.
Could I
more detail?
Pose a question that one of the members had here, and just want to get your take on it?
Mm-hmm.
So B Timmy 10 says, not sure if this was talked about yet, guys, but I don't know what happened, but it looks like Golden could have taken it for 6. Not assuming, but it looked like it. At first, I thought, the momentum, all that, but when you look at the all 22. I'll be honest, it does look like if he was conscious of where he was on the field, which maybe was the reason why he just thought that he was closer to line of scrimmage, or I'm sorry, to the out of bounds line, that he thought, I got the first down. That's all I need. I'm not going to be able to. It did to me look like that if he were able to be a little more cognizant, that he could have turned that thing up and taken it.
Right. And guys, he's a rookie,
That's what I'm saying.
And here's the thing. This is not going to be a popular answer, B Timmy. And it's because it's not blaming either person. You could have had a better throw from Love.
Yep.
And you could have had better spatial awareness by Golden, So to me, there's a little bit of fault on both sides there. But I do agree, man, there's a lot of receivers in the league that are able to make that catch, get turned around, know where the sideline's at, and get upfield and possibly score, right? But again, Jordan Love needs to throw a better ball there too. So, yeah. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's only week 3. And what did we see? We called it this week. We said, hey, this game, Matthew Golden's kind of poised to have a little breakout game. Well, he had his best game to date, right? He had over 50 some yards. I think the projection was 30 some yards. So he almost doubled his projection. So.
Soder makes a good point too. That was after, remember, I had that weird random spot of rain too. So you guys secure the catch, like you said, secure the first down. I completely understand that mentality. It's just when you watch it, it's hard to fathom because hindsight's always 20/20, right? You look back and you look at these little tiny miscues that could have dictated the end of the game. It is what it is, man. Their spam is going nuts.
I got you, man.
I got them.
We'll keep smacking them out of here. Just anytime a game goes live, they fly in here. So but that's a great point, Soder. And again, man, that's the other thing too with the defense there at the end. I was trying to give a little grace too on that final drive where, I noticed it got kind of cloudy, right, and then the rain started falling, and all of a sudden, as a defender, the last thing you want to do is bust your keister and take yourself out of the play. So you play a little bit more, a little more conservative in that regard. So. As silly as that sounds. Coach Lynn says it looked like Golden tripped right before the catch. I could see that too, Coach. It was something that was just – it definitely wasn't just a clean route catch and I could turn up field and go. But I think that's what we're kind of saying there too. I don't want to say he's ahead of schedule, but I think he's on schedule to be a great receiver. I believe that. Everything we've seen, the separation, we talked about that leading up earlier in the week. I just want to tip my cap to Tucker Kraft. And I don't even know. I haven't even looked at his grade. Maybe it was horrible. I don't know. We'll find out here in a second when I get it pulled up. But the fact that dude went out there on that sore knee, and then what did he do at the end? I actually put a tweet out. Like when the game's on the line, think player, not play. Jordan Love hit him on a leak route, and he turned it in a 16-yard, sacrificed his body, got his legs taken out, landed right on his face mask. And it's like that should have been enough to win the game. So I tipped my cap to Tucker Kraft going out there banged up like he was, man, for sure. So, all right, let's get into the offensive side. Jacob, you ready? This is let's take our medicine real quick. So
that's tough.
Darian Kennard was the highest rated player. He only played 4 snaps, so a 77.2. John Fitzpatrick, 16 snaps, a 76.9. Josh Jacobs, 43 snaps, 73.4. So you love to see that. Dontavion Wicks, 45 snaps, a 63.6. Matthew Golden, 47 snaps, 62.8. obviously was the leading receiver yesterday as well for the Packers. Zach Tom, 1 snap, pass block grade, 0. God love him.
I don't mean to laugh, but
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
Right. Bo Melton had 3 snaps at receiver. That's interesting, right? 59.8. Jordan Love graded out a 59.0. I think here's the thing about Love. I thought Love played pretty good other than 2 plays. When he took the sack, right? When they rushed the play out there in the third quarter, that made no sense to me. It was just and I think that's more on LaFleur there. And LaFleur took ownership of that too. So yeah, respect oranges. You hurt me, Jacob. Zach Tom. So LaFleur took ownership of that debacle there before the end of the third. LaFleur is obsessed with, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, because when it works, we love it. He likes to try to, if the clock's running down at the end of the quarter and you've got time left on the play clock, he likes to get out there and try to rush to the line and get a free play real quick right before the end of the quarter, right? Because those guys don't have time to communicate. Hey, hold your water, don't jump. They're going to try to, he did that. Jordan comes to the line. You should have just let the clock run out. Right. Instead, and this is what Matt said, not me. Coach LaFleur said he's seen man coverage, picked a man beater, and just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's like, in that situation, you got to know this game is different than any other game you're playing, right? Like this specific game, the clock is your opponent right there. And the last thing you want to do is, all right, let's be aggressive here. Let's be aggressive here, right? No, it's just you go out there, let the clock run out, and in the first play of the third quarter, you run the ball because was it not a 3rd and 1 or something, Jacob? Am I thinking right?
I don't want to say for sure, but I thought it was something like 3rd and manageable. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would much rather you come back in the fourth quarter, run the rock or a short completion. If you don't get the first down, you run 40 seconds off the clock, you punt that thing away, and you make Joe Flacco beat you. That's just the game that you should have been playing there, because that's how that entire game, 3rd and 1. Yeah. So, and here's how I feel about that, Jay. And I know this is a boring way to fan, but if we can't gain a yard on 3rd down and then we get stuffed, some would say, well, you don't deserve to win the game. I can live with that. Hey, if you can't gain a yard, it ain't our day. Right. But also, you couple that with the fact of, all right, now we're going to punt the ball and flip the field for 50 to 60 yards. And if they go back down the field and score, we just didn't deserve to win. But when you feel like you beat yourself, that's the tough part. But at the same time, if you flip the script here and you say, okay, we beat ourselves yesterday and we still only lost by 3 points against a top 5 defense in the league, I'm telling you guys, now's the time for that stuff to happen. And put that in the memory bank for later in the season, So, all right. So Josh Jacobs, Dontavion Wade. I want to click on Dontavion real quick. What's he looking like this year so far? So he's 74, 79, 63. So on the year, a 75.6. Not bad. On 104 snaps already. So we're seeing more of the 2023 rookie Dontavion Wicks at a 77.8 as opposed to last year with the 65.1, right? So Tay Wicks might still be a great player moving forward. That's exciting. Matthew Golden so far this year, it's early, but a 61, 52, 62. Now, we talked about that. We feel like he's having a better season than they're showing there. However, he's flirting with that 60 mark that we talk about is good for a rookie player. 59.1 is where he's at right now. It's typically a good sign if you grade out in the 60s your rookie year that you're going to be a good player. Zach Tom, Bo Melton. Let's look at Jordan real quick. How did this hurt him on the year? 76, 86, 59. So now on the season, his grade is still a 79.6 with an 80.1.
And I honestly think that I feel like that grade should be the week 3 grade should be higher. Like if you look at one point, he was like 18 for 23. It wasn't a ton of yardage, and obviously it was a couple boneheaded plays that and I say boneheaded, not trying to be insulting or anything like that, but just that one pass, the interception, that's tough. And obviously certain things like I brought up yesterday where clearly had the first down, decides to slide. We end up getting the first down after, so that's I understand that, but it's just like situational awareness. He did seem like he was a little bit kind of floaty, where he just kind of didn't quite have the head in the game. But at this point, to be 79.6, I mean, I'm very happy with where Jordan is right now.
I am too, man. I think he's going to bounce back this week too, and be right back in the MVP conversation. Not that matters. I don't want y'all to take that the wrong. I could give a rat's rear end whether he wins MVP or not.
Speaking of that, do you think that there's any? Because I don't know if there was a question specifically about it, but Did it seem like they were trying to force Josh Jacobs to get certain carries to get a touchdown to try to get him that record rather than just doing what was right on the field to get us more points, if that makes sense?
I didn't see that at all. No,
I didn't either, but I saw
And-
again in the Facebook groups, that's the big trying to go for a record and get the win. And it's like, Josh Jacobs is good. You give him the ball when you're in the red zone. Like, you know what I mean? I just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's like, for me, if anything, it was the opposite. Like, I would have pressed a little more into trying to get him that touchdown. But what do we end up doing? We end up running a bootleg and getting a touchdown to Fitzpatrick, which the thing that sticks out to me here, Jacob, John Fitzpatrick, 16 snaps, Luke Musgrave only 13. Did he get hurt at some point or something? Does anybody in the chat remember Musgrave getting banged
People
up?
in the chat asked where Musgrave was. Did he get hurt? I will say that maybe is it that point where now John Fitzpatrick has just performed to the point where they feel more comfortable putting him out on the field. And I'll be honest, I thought I liked even that play. Remember if he fell down and they did like I can't remember if it was like a boot around or whatever, and he got back up and he was the only one open and Love smacked him right there. And I think he got a first down for that play, or at least like 8 or 9 yards. And I was like, oh boy, Fitz. All right.
Yeah, it was a 23 boot and they had him leak. So
Okay.
23 boot, which is it's a 23 fake. Essentially what you're doing is a B gap left run fake and then rolling out with everybody fanning to the left as if it's a zone left run, bootleg out. He chipped off the right side and leaked out and kind of faded back away from the defense. It was actually a pretty solid play by him, man. It was. And it wasn't nothing beautiful, wasn't nothing fancy, but it was just like, man, that was a high IQ play because the Browns did a good job plastering, in the end zone for sure.
Yep.
So.
What do you think real quick about Joe's comment? Brown suffocating King Henry, not taking anything away from this game on Jacob's performance, but dude, they limited him to 23 yards.
Right. No,
you know what I mean?
I talked about this going into the game, guys, and leading up to the game, I feel like it was falling on deaf ears, not necessarily people in here, but it was just like, well, it's still the Browns. We'll win. We got this.
I'm guilty of it. I thought we'd score 30.
And and what did I say, Jay? I think I said 26. Right. I was way off too. You know what I mean? Like, so I was lower than your all score and it still was too high. Right. But nonetheless, the point is you can play a team that's got a great defense and you have 2 or 3 fluke things happen. And all of a sudden you're in a dogfight at the end. Right. And it doesn't mean so many people that were in the comments today on Twitter were just like, well, it's the Browns though. They suck. I'm like, if you watch that defense play football this year and you think they suck, there's no reason for you and I to have football conversations. It's one of the best defenses in the league. Now, their offense and Joe Flacco, absolutely, they stink. There's no two ways about it. But we should have been able to hold them to 3 points yesterday, too, if Jordan doesn't throw that interception. I think we're sitting here talking about a 10-3 win is what I think we're talking about. So, and are we proud of that? Would that be like, oh, yeah, no, absolutely not. It'd be an ugly win, but a win's a win, right? So, but yeah. Looks like Coach Lynn says, I guess 17-10. You were all over it, Coach. You were all over it, man, for sure. All right, let's see what else we got here offensively. Just want to hit on a couple more. Emmanuel Wilson got 16 snaps. That's more, it seems like, than he's had so far. Pass block grade 80.4. That's solid, right?
Am I crazy? I was just going to say Chris Brooks. I just don't even remember seeing him out there. But
right. Let's talk about the negatives here, guys. The lowest graded players on the field. Rasheed Walker, your left tackle, 34.1. Jordan Morgan, your left, they got it listed as left guard. I know he played multiple positions, 40.7. Aaron Banks, 40.9. Anthony Belton, 41.6. Elton Jenkins, 44.6. Let me tell you what that means. Having your 5 offensive linemen as your lowest graded players, that means you got your ass kicked in the trenches, case closed. So the fact that they graded Jordan so low, if you remove the interception from Jordan Love there and that boneheaded play on 3rd and 1 where he took the sack, I'm looking at Jordan going, boy, he better be grading out in the 80s. So that's why I don't really understand his grade that much.
Exactly, yeah.
But and the offensive line play, obviously. And I want to say this with Rasheed Walker. I know it's been a big talking point. That whole we're going undefeated. Come on, dude. Like, what are we doing? Like, why put that target on your back? You had him saying we're going undefeated, and you had Micah Parsons saying he was going to go out there and hunt Flacco. And we love it leading up to the game. It's like, yeah, that's what all right, yeah. Maybe we're counting our chickens before they hatch. And that's why I think if I was LaFleur, I go into that meeting today, and that's what I'd lead the meeting off with. I'd play that audio of Rasheed Walker saying that, and I'd play that audio of Micah Parsons make an example out of his ass too, and be like, boys, how we feel about it? Rasheed, you got your butt kicked all day. Micah, you didn't land in the stat column. Did you get a sack? Why are we talking? Why are we talking? Let's go play ball. You know what I mean? Now, if they go out there and back it up, I'm singing a different tune today, but I think it is, yeah, there you go, Coach Lane, just shut up and play ball. Exactly, man. Why put that target on your back? If you think for a second that the Browns organization didn't play those two clips, I guarantee you they did it.
I was just going to say, I know they did that. And
I would.
I was going to say, what do you want to do to light a fire? Show them people talking crap about you, and to do it in week 2, like you said. I mean, and you could see, dude, and you guys, I love Parsons. I love him now that he's here. Everything's great. I understand the catalyst he was, but like, man, he got decleated by the running back. Quinshot and Judkins absolutely tacked that dude to the point where he had to go off the sidelines and like sit there on his knees. And then it was really cool. Remember, he looked at him and he went,
pointed at him. Yeah.
I see you.
Like, cool moment, right?
It was actually dope. But like, you know, it's just one of those things. And that remind me reminiscent of Aaron Jones when he did the same thing. He chipped that guy in the next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
again, leading up to getting Micah, Jacob, this is what we talked about. He's an elite speed rusher. He is, right? It doesn't mean his whole game is perfect. It's not. And the thing about speed rushers, guys, they wear down. Like, you're going to be tired. You're going to need a spell. There was multiple times you could see him going back, his hands on his hips to the huddle. And then you've seen Rashawn Gary just literally kicking people's asses just about every snap, right? Which is mind-boggling that his PFF grade is so much lower than Micah's. When you turn on the tape, you see Gary just playing gap sound and getting to the quarterback, you know? So, Soder, I'm glad you said, he said Parsons was out of gas yesterday. I seen it too. Like, and I thought it was just me because I'm combing through Twitter and nobody's talking about it. So I just kept my mouth shut.
Dude, there was multiple times where I was talking with Justin and the old guys from the fantasy podcast, and 3 or 4 different times during the game, they're like, is Parsons hurt? He's on the sideline and he looks like he could be hurt. Like, no, he just was gassed, man. And you know, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here on my couch criticizing a guy that's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Yeah, just got Cheeto stains everywhere and all that. But like, and that's tough, you know, to throw a guy in. What was he, like 6 days before we're like, all right, Parsons, go out and be our, star player out here. Yeah. It is what it is, man. Like Coach says, he's just still not in football. There is getting in shape, and then there is football shape. I'm telling you.
Very well said. Yeah. And again, if you wouldn't say it to a player's face, we don't say it on the show. I ain't saying it to that man's face. You know what I mean? Look at that guy right there.
Guys forget that it was 85 degrees on the field yesterday.
Was it really?
Humid as all get out. And so go out there and try to do that in that type of weather, and it'll suck the energy right out of you, I tell you.
Yeah. I'm going to click on special teams grade. And I know PFF's a little bit wonky how they do their special teams, but I just want to take a quick glance here. Zane Anderson, 80.6. Chris Brooks, 74.9. Isaiah McDuffie, 73.0. The people that think that they have done nothing to try to help the special teams, I mean, what did you do? You re-signed Isaiah McDuffie to a 2-year deal. He's one of your best special teams players. You bring back Chris Brooks. That's a key special teams player. Zane Anderson, same thing, right? Baron Sorrell had a 69.5. Javon Bullard, 67.1. Down on the lower end, Jordan Morgan, who gave up partially gave up that blocked field goal. He only played 3 snaps, right, on special teams, a 26.0. Kingsley Nagbari, 29.1. Keyshawn Nixon, 29.6. LVN had a bad day there on special teams with a 34.9 as well. So just wanted to kind of take a glance at that real quick. Not that it matters too much. So there are your PFF grades. So before we wrap up, Jacob, we got the Dallas Cowboys coming up here, right? First of all, is there anything else you want to hit on in terms of the Browns game? Anything at all?
Well, I got a couple chats if you want to hit them quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Well, 12 for this. This is right away in the beginning. He says, definitely seemed like the pinky wheel wasn't the only thing rigged. I tell you what. And then J. Cole said Vegas definitely cleaned up yesterday.
Yes, they did.
It like you said, the one thing that was suspect to me was the way that ref came in and spot that ball. I've never in my life seen them do that fast, and that was with 2 seconds on the clock. And that just be and some of the I will reference maybe one of, I think it was a Keyshawn Nixon penalty. I don't think I remember seeing so many flags in the end zone, giving him a freaking 1st and goal. I mean, it just something about it stunk, man, and I didn't like it.
And listen, I'm not I'm not saying that's why we lost the game. I don't think
No,
you are
no,
either, right? But I will say this was ugly. If you looked at the most important offensive play for the Cleveland Browns, it was this 38-yard run here, okay? I'm not going to play the clip here. Maybe I could play it right here without zooming all the way in so you can just kind of see it, just so you can kind of see the play. When it happened in real time, I thought Edgerrin Cooper, who's right here, got washed out of the play. I thought that he chose the wrong gap, okay? Now you're going to see him just kind of disappear in the hole, right? But when you go back and watch it, that's what happened, boys. Look at it. Now, look, keep in mind, the running back has the ball in the backfield. And 77 is literally bear hugging Edgerrin Cooper from behind, completely covering his numbers up. No call, right? Now, is that why we lost the game? No. But if you don't have that 38-yard run, that ends up leading to a field goal, which ends up being the difference in the game, albeit it was their first field goal of the game. Little things like that, along with mistakes where you shot yourself in the foot, mistakes by LaFleur, mistakes by Jordan. The interception was the most important play of the game. If Matt LaFleur calls a run there, the interception doesn't happen. If Jordan looks at that and thinks, I would rather take a sack here, like somebody said earlier in the chat, I would take a sack here and punt that thing away, you feel like you love your chances of winning that ball game. So there's plenty of blame to go around to multiple players and coaches. So now, in terms of firing Rich Bisaccia, listen, I get it. I know everybody wants him fired now all of a sudden. I remember when we hired Rich Bisaccia, we went out and got supposedly the most decorated, the most qualified special teams coach in the entire league. He's a special teams coach that had head coaching experience, right? And his special teams in Vegas were much better than they were once he got to Green Bay, right? So here's the point I'm trying to make. If he had success somewhere else, right, and we haven't had success with the last 4 special teams coordinators that we've had in Green Bay, who's to blame? I have a hard time believing it's Rich Bisaccia. I think it's how you construct the roster. Now, I just pointed out 3 key players on special teams that we signed, right? However, what was the biggest negative aspect of special teams yesterday? Let's boil it down. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Jacob, but if you know the answer, your answer may be different than mine. If you were to say special teams yesterday, what was the worst play we had or the most important play that went wrong on special teams yesterday? What was it?
To me, it'd be the blocking on the field goal.
Completely agree. Because you had the Savion Williams huge return, right? You got penalties on special teams, and I know the fun saying is you're either coaching it or you're either allowing it. What is the saying? How is it they say it? You're either coaching it or you're allowing it, right? I think that's how they word it. Guys, if we think for a second that these players haven't been told and taught over and over and over again, you're not allowed to do this. Don't do that. Yeah. It's just like when an offensive lineman jumps off sides with a false start, like when they start early with a false start on offense, how will you blame the coaches for that's beyond me. Everyone else on the offensive line had the snap count right, and this one guy jumped. How is that the coach's fault? Are we supposed to go into practice and go, all right, guys, forget the 11-on-11 period. Forget the technically sound tackling drills that we got, all that stuff. We're going to make sure that you can get off the ball at the right time. That's what we're going to do. I'm sorry, man. I can't get on board with that. I can't, Yeah. So.
Deadfish giving us an update. The Lions just went ahead. Gibbs just scored a 1-yard touchdown run.
On Baltimore. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Monday Night Football partaking there. So, again, the point that I'm making there is if Bisaccia had success with special teams where he was before, and we've now on our 4th straight special teams coordinator that somehow sucked, it's probably the way you construct the roster. The reason I asked you that, Jacob, that would be my what else went wrong on special teams yesterday other than the block kick? Because that's the only reason we're talking about special teams today.
Exactly.
Okay, so who's to blame? Well, you've seen the guy came flying off the edge. If he got a hand on it, as bad as we don't want to admit this, guess
who's Tucker. Don't say Tucker.
As bad as we don't want to say it, that's Tucker Kraft's fault, right? Like right here, I think I've got the image here. I want to show you guys. So this is the image, right?
Oof.
That now keep in mind
that's crazy. Dude.
Keep in mind Tucker did chip that edge, right? That big defensive lineman, and then try to get back outside. So let's pretend he doesn't touch the ball. This guy that's and by the way, as bad as I hate that loss, I love this picture. This is football. Yeah. You're talking about a game of inches, dude. This is what it's about, man. Win, lose, or draw. the entire game, you play 60 minutes of football and it comes down to 1 inch and a fingertip on a ball. How can you not be romantic about football? I just
There you
love
go.
it.
I was just gonna say that. You stole my line. You.
So right here, we talked about this, right? So this is Jordan Morgan. Watch 77. He's gonna get blown off the ball, right? Bang. You die a slow death is the goal there, right? Now, was it Brandon McManus with a low trajectory kick? I see several people in the chat that's saying that, right? It could be. Is it Jordan Morgan getting blown off the ball? Is he to blame? Regardless, how is that Bisaccia's fault?
Right.
Do we think that Bisaccia told McManus, "Hey, man, don't worry about it.
Here's what you're gonna do.
Kick that thing as low as you want. It'd be fine."
In there real low, man. That's what we want.
Or we think Bisaccia told Jordan Morgan, "Listen, buddy, don't worry about it. You get blown off the ball, it ain't no big deal." No, so again, for me, I think it comes down to roster construction. And this is just because I studied Bill Parcells' coaching tree for about 5 years. I got really, it's why I'm kind of a closet Bill Belichick fan from New England, the New England dynasty, is because I got to kind of learn a little bit and really dive deeply into what makes that coaching staff so good. I'm telling you right now, guys, when they say, one of the things that makes my skin crawl is when I hear coaches say all three phases: offense, defense, special teams, right? Well, when Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells and those guys say it, they freaking mean it. And their roster is built around, hey, how can we make our special teams as strong as possible? Sometimes to a fault, right? Well, when you get these West Coast offense teams that the whole structure of the organization is built around how do we have high-powered offenses, which we've been fortunate as Packer fans to have for a long time, special teams on the back burner. It is. Yeah. So name the special teams player, the special teams specialist that we're paying a lot of money to. You know what I'm saying? Like, they paid, I think it was Matthew Slater, it was his name, in New England. They paid him like $6-7 million a year, and he was technically a wide receiver, and he never played wide receiver. He was just that special teams ace. He was a team captain, made the all-pro team every year. You don't see the Packers investing money into that, right? No. And the closest thing we had to it was McCole Hardman signing him this year, and he, best of my knowledge, he wasn't active yesterday, right?
Right.
So,
I like what Murph says. He goes, "You think it was difficult because of the knee injury as far as Kraft? I'm not going to discount that. And granted, that could be giving him a out. I'm going to give him that out because I love Tucker Kraft, and I choose to believe that that's what happened."
Again, Jacob, it's like this is one bad play by Tucker yesterday, right? If it is on him, right? So it just came at the worst time.
And honestly, not to excuse him again of it, even if Ward got again a pinky tip there, like the other guy was going to smack it down. It was already decided, and it sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Coach says, I want to see Stackhouse or Brinson on the field goal team. Coach, check this out. Look right here, 93 on the right. You see him right here? Fucking right here.
Oh,
a Stackhouse, right? So I'm with you. Like, and that's the thing. As you said that, I just happened to look down at my screen and went, well, oh, heck, Stackhouse was on the field.
Isn't it interesting, too? Kennard's in there. Like, they trust him enough on – that to me is crazy. You know what I mean? That makes my head spin a little bit, that they trust him enough on the game-winning field goal at left guard or whatever position he was lined up there. Right. And then they don't trust him enough to throw him in at right tackle, and they want to throw Morgan all around. And so, whatever. Can I throw one more question out there quick? So Brooke, I've never seen you in here, Brooke. I love it. Says question.
Brooke's OG.
Brooke's OG? Okay, sorry. She says, question. Do we really think this is a revenge game? He's got friends on that team. It was non-Jerry, not sure he's mad. Right after that, Joe said, y'all think Parsons was tired or saving it for Dallas? I heard he was hurt and missed a few snaps. So that kind of goes back to what we both talked about, how we kind of saw him getting either was it winded or blah, blah, blah. I don't think that he's going to look at that Dallas game and think that this isn't anything, not necessarily a revenge game, but prove to my new team that I'm worth the money. Do you think that he's going to pull up at all whatsoever because he may have quote unquote friends on Dallas?
No, I don't. And here's the thing though. Can we be real for a second? So when you have superstar players on your team, there are negatives that come with superstar players, right? Like, I mean, you go back. Antonio Brown was one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game. He was a damn head case. Still is to this day. Best of my laws, he's still running from the law out of the country, I believe, right? So just an example, right? Absolute dog on the field. but boy, oh boy, did he get in trouble off the field, right? Like that's just kind of remember Deion Sanders? It seemed like every year there was some kind of huge storyline around him, right? Micah's a superstar, whether we agree with it or like it or not, right? There's a little bit of baggage that comes with that. The fact that we're talking about going into Dallas, and this isn't a shot at Brooke or anybody else, it's crossed my mind too, Brooke. I'm glad you brought it up. But the fact that we're talking about him going into Dallas, it's a revenge game. We're going to go down there. He's going to be all in. We should be amped up every game, right? Rashawn Gary don't treat any game different than any other. He just goes out there and works his ass off. I mean, we've seen it all year last year in the run game, right? So that's not a shot at Micah. I hope he's not holding anything back for a specific game, or maybe he would hold back on this because he's got friends on the team. I don't think that's a real thing. But this whole, I'm going to go hunt Flacco. How about we just hunt our assignment? How about we do that? How about we all – and again, I didn't see anything that Micah did yesterday where I was like, oh, Micah, what are you doing? I thought he played great. But you got to keep that – we talked about it going in, Jacob, that is it going to be a problem for the locker room when you bring in someone like Micah, right? No, I don't think it is. But these are the type of conversations that pop up when you got superstars on your team like that, And it's a good problem to have great players. That's the thing you got to harness. And again, we got to go back. The defense played great yesterday. They played absolutely great. So.
Agreed. And just a quick heads up, it looks like Pivot said that there was a touchdown to Henry. I believe that's Hunter Henry. I don't know if that's true. No, somebody said Hunter Henry. I believe it's going to be the Baltimore Henry. Yeah,
it's Derrick Henry. He and as he popped into the A gap, Kirby Joseph kind of squared up, and you could tell Kirby Joseph was not attacking that man. So back outside. So it's tied up.
28-yard touchdown run. That's impressive.
Yeah, it was a nice comeback. Yeah, Derrick Henry, and again, Derrick Henry last week got his lunch ate by this defense that we just played.
Exactly. That's By the way, again, another guy, not to sound like I met Derrick Henry when I was in Nashville when he was drafted there. He was the nicest guy you could ever talk to. But he was a dude. I'm talking when I shook his hand, my hand just went away. It just got engulfed in his. And he was the nicest dude ever. He was just a very, very humble guy. So it's hard not to root against him.
Mm-hmm. Respect Orange says, can't wait for Jacobs to get his runs going. Orange is, I'm if you were to ask me, what am I concerned about in this team? There's not a whole lot I'm concerned about. I think they're still I think they're more like the team that we seen week 1 and 2 than we did yesterday. But the running game's starting to concern me a little bit. It's just like we haven't been able to get it going against 3 teams,
Yeah.
Unless I'm overlooking something. But I like what Matt LaFleur did yesterday. You couldn't get the run game going. You want to get Jacobs involved. You get him involved in the passing game, and it was arguably our biggest play of the day. Right? Was that pass play outside to him?
Is that a screen play, if I'm not mistaken?
It wasn't technically a screen. I know I edited in the Chalk Talk.
It's called like a swing play or something like that.
Yeah, it was a. I could pull it up, but we'll get into it tomorrow. I've got all the plays are diagrammed, and we're ready to roll for Chalk. We could have done Chalk Talk tonight, but I like to try to save it for Tuesday. But just to do anything to get him involved, because he is, man, when he's got the ball in his hands, boy, he can make guys miss in the phone booth. He really can. But unfortunately, there just ain't nowhere to run right now. Now you're going into Dallas. I don't even know what their run defense looks like. Jacob, do you? We pull up the rankings real quick.
Not necessarily. While you're doing that, Brooke, I believe, comes back with a great comment. She says, I'm honestly more concerned. Again, this is in reference to Parsons. She says, I'm honestly more concerned about him becoming a me player. Upset he doesn't get as many sacks as Gary. Says he's pissed about the snap count. Green Bay has a standard. He's great, but genuine. I don't think it's to that point yet, Brooke, but I understand you bringing that up because Parsons is used to being kind of like the guy. He's the dude. I just hope that they keep performing to the point where everybody gets to eat and they all get a little, chunk of the food kind of thing. Right. I know Gary's not mad about it right now.
No, Gary is the most selfless player on this team, in this organization. He has never complained about anything. He just went out there and been about his business. And, you look at the cap hits over the years, and he has not been in the top 3 in cap hits at edge defenders his entire career. Maybe this year he finally hit it. Well, lo and behold, you look up and he's leading the league in sacks. I think he's earned it, right? But the last few years, it was $11 million against the cap, whatever against the cap. And really the people that complain about the overall average of the contracts, they don't fully understand how the guarantees work. and how that's not really what you're getting paid per year, because we know the guaranteed money is the only thing that really matters. But just want to point out Dallas coming up. We were talking about the run game. They are tied for 7th best run defense at 3.7 yards per carry. So they've actually played pretty good run defense this year. In terms
of Kenny Clark, Clayton, of course.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. In terms of passing defense, yards per pass attempt, look at there. Green Bay's still number 1. Dallas is dead last at 9.4 yards per pass attempt. So as much as we want to get Josh Jacobs going, this is probably going to be a game where you see Jordan Love just come out and they're just going to throw the thing all over the yard, I would imagine. So, yeah. And Brooke says, thanks, guys. Love being a part of the stream. Brooke, it's so good to see you in here. Thank you for swinging back by. I remember Brooke was reaching out when I first started the podcast, years ago, and we were emailing back and forth and stuff. So it's awesome to have you in here. Good to see you. Anything else you want to hit on, Jacob? I'm cool hanging out for a minute if you are, man.
Yeah, I mean, just
chat's on fire. This is awesome.
Chat is on fire, and I think everybody's making a bunch of good. What I love about the community that we built here is that initially we're all going to be, pissed as oh god, I almost did a real bad swear right there. We're all going to get very upset with the way that a game ends and where we feel like that we didn't play up to our potential. That's what it's going to be, but. I think what's great about, again, this chat, this group, this PTA posse here is that we all take a step back, look at the numbers, look at the analytics, really kind of dive into what it means to be a Green Bay Packer fan, understand the situation, and then try to maybe make a 30,000-foot overview as to what we need to adjust and what we, need to understand isn't really a thing. I love, I won't take yours off the chat, but Pivot says, this is my therapy. Honestly, this is my therapy. Do you guys understand? I go to work on the border, and when the Vikings win and the Packers lose, I had like 54 people today being like, "How about them Browns?" And I'm just looking at them like, I'm gonna cancel your membership. I don't even care. Like, I will hit a child. I will. I don't care anymore. It is terrible, man. My boss is texting me, "How about them Packers?" And I'm like, God.
Yeah. Romero Hill says, do you think the lack of a running game is because of the offensive line or more about Jacobs being the focus of defenses? I think it's a combination of both, Romero. They're playing with a loaded box. I think we said seventh highest percentage of a loaded box, which means 7+ in the box that he's facing. But also when you watch the tape, the offensive line are just they're not bullying people, man. They're not, And I know some people are worried about the Aaron Banks experience. Was it a bad signing? The beautiful thing about that is if we get to the end of the season, it was a bad signing, you can get out of that contract after 1 year, right? That's how it was structured. To me, it felt like everybody said $77 million. And I was like, something going on there. But on the whole, we break the contract now and go, this is actually a 4-year deal that's really a 1-year deal, which is one of those rare situations. So you could cut bait there. Elton Jenkins has not looked great. And here's the other thing.
I didn't want to bring that up, but
if you decide to move on from Elton next year, you're freeing up $20 million in cap space. That's what you're doing. So again, it's early. We may look up at the end of the year and Elton Jenkins is an all-pro center, right?
Yeah.
But I remember the comment that was made by Rob Domofsky that someone within the building told him the center of the future is in the building already. And people started throwing, is it Sean Ryan? Is it Elton Jenkins? Is it Zach Tom? And the caveat with that was, the other comment was, this organization sees Zach Tom as a Pro Bowl tackle, an all-pro guard, and a Hall of Fame center, Zach Tom. So I would not be surprised if the plan was let Elton play this year out, move on next year, kick Zach Tom to center, and you got Anthony Belton that you drafted to start at right tackle. Now, Anthony Belton's young. We don't know if it's going to work out or not. It's way too early. We'll have these conversations in the offseason. But it's the whole purpose of this show, too, is the reason we call it Packers Total Access. And we try to view the team as the front office does, as the coaches do, as the players do. When we do the chalk talk, we're breaking it down. What are the players actually seeing? What's the assignment? So we try to look at it from a little more in-depth point of view. And when you're modeling your roster out, Goody right now is making that decision. I promise you that. He's making the decision right now on what this offensive line is going to do next year. How many are we going to be drafted? How do we structure the scouts that are out there looking at the college teams right now, looking at the college tape? They're structuring their approach to putting in the work and getting the extra time in at specific positions based off what they think they're going to do with the roster right now. So
Yeah, I love Joe's comment. He says, Bears beat the Cowboys, Browns beat Packers. I think my grandma grabbed her Bible and went to church and started singing Amazing Grace. And he's given Sunday.
So
That's
true,
what it is, man. It's just,
and it's why I love, as bad as this loss hurt yesterday. Mandy was sitting up here with me. She walked into the room after the kick, after they kicked the game-winning field goal, and she went, "What the hell happened?" And I literally looked her right in the eye, and this is full disclosure because I know we're like family here in the chat. I looked at her and I said, "I've got to do a post-game show." I said, I don't know what I'm going to do to try to not depress these people that are investing their evening into hanging out with us to talk about this game. Like, what do I do? And it was tough, man. It's tough.
If I can give the chat and the members a little insight, you guys would be shocked at the lack of pre-show communication that we do. And I'm not even well, yeah, but I'm telling you, we jump on within 2 minutes. Emilio is usually eating, and as we're going live, he tries to get us to geek out and just do the dumbest crap. But the one thing that Clayton does to his credit, and what we've done since we started this podcast, is when we have a loss, he goes, "All right, boys, if you got nothing great to say, don't be on this podcast. We don't want to be those types of fans." And last night he did the same thing, and we all we shape up, we ship up, we straighten the tie, and we go out there and we try to at least present a positive view, or at least an honest view of what happened with that game and with the Packers. And I hope you guys appreciate that, because it's easy. It's very easy to take that sort of blame everybody, burn it down, blah, blah, blah. The sky is falling, all this bull crap. Like,
here's the other thing with that, Jacob. When you have those kind of takes after a loss, it gets a lot of views.
Yeah, exactly. We're not clickbait ladies of the night.
I've noticed this, and I've studied this guy. You guys know I'm a business owner. Like, I've studied this model. No production meeting, that fish said. I've studied this model, right, for the last 4 years. And I have noticed that the other streamers, not all of them, but the major ones, the 4-letter network ones, they take more calls after a loss than they do a win. Why is that? Because they know that's going to sell. The outrageous takes, the people overreact, and you can actually hear a little pep in their voice, like, all right, yeah, we got a loss here. We can, really amp up the drama. I want to talk about what happened, why did it happen, and it is tough to come in here after a loss. But that's what I told them yesterday. I try to tell them every time, like, listen, guys, I'm not trying to be an ass, but I always say, those fans are just as frustrated as we are. Our listeners are just as frustrated as we are right now. Let's talk about what happened, but let's make it fun. Let's make them, when this show ends, they should feel better that they tuned in, rather than I'm more pissed off, I'm more aggravated. That's just
exactly.
Yeah. So, and I know that might be a little rare, but other than Ramage does a good job. Like, hey, bub, I'm having fun either way. You know what I mean? That's what I love about Matt Ramage. But yeah.
I like what Respect Orange just says. Basically, nowadays, if it bleeds, it leads. That's what most people are. They're trying to get your likes, trying to get your angry clicks, and we don't want to do that to you guys. So we respect you, and we want to make everybody have a better experience being a Packer fan.
Yeah. Chuck Jagger says, why the hell we got a Hall of Fame at any position not playing that position? The reason being, Chuck, is because there's more important positions. He's a great right tackle. Like, he is a Pro Bowl caliber right tackle, he being Zach Tom. That's a more important position than center. Okay. That's not my personal opinion. I don't know anybody on the face of the earth, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck either, Chuck. Like, I'm being serious. I don't know anyone who breaks down tape, any former football player, any coach that would tell you it's more important to have a better center than a better tackle, because obviously edge defenders are what can blow your game up quick. And you got help with the center, with the two guards, just based off of how most defenses align. So the point there is, tackle is more important of a position. However, if next year you come out of camp and you love how Belton looks, and he's our right tackle now, Jordan Morgan's going to be our left. Jordan Morgan, I think, is going to be a great left tackle. Like,
I do too.
I've seen him at tackle. I thought he looked great. He looked comfortable there. Go back to last year. He told the media in his locker, hey, I want to be a left tackle. Yeah. And why is he saying that? Because he knows he can't play those other positions. And if the argument is, well, he's a first round pick, he should be able to, guys, that's Josh Sitton couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Josh Sitton was the one who coined the phrase. If you want to know what it's like to switch from the left side to the right side, go home tonight and wipe your rear end with the opposite hand. Like, there's multiple play. Now, Zach Tom can do it. Zach Tom has even talked about it. He's like, man, it's just come natural to me. I can just kick over to left tackle. I can play right tackle. I can play center. I can do it all. It's not him bragging either. It's just some guys get it and some guys don't. Jordan Morgan will be the left tackle next year unless they get Rasheed Walker on a heck of a deal, which, by the way, Rasheed Walker not having the best year, man. There's penalty after penalty. And I know there's an argument to be made that Jordan Morgan's having penalties too, but he's having penalties playing multiple. He was at right tackle yesterday. I can't believe we started him at right tackle. That blew me away, man. Absolutely blew me away. So I'm glad that Matt LaFleur kind of owned up to that a little bit. Like, yeah, man, it isn't fair that we're putting him in that top spot. So,
no.
Anyway.
Last comment, if you want to end it here. Tony Holman, which I think is one of the best compliments we could get. He says, I personally appreciate the lack of drama on this pod. That's not our brand. That's not what we want to do. We want to come out here and be honest with you guys. And just like, if anything, we want to have a conversation about it. Like, let's talk about it. There's no reason to sit here and start just throwing daggers. Let's literally break down the film, which we will do. I believe tomorrow we have a chalk talk, if you will. That I think that's maybe what does separate us from other, Packers podcasts is we're not quick to sit here and just start labeling people this or that or calling for this person's job or whatever. We take a step back and say, what went wrong? Can we fix it? If not, then we do that. We're here dang near every single night, which is crazy. So I just hope you guys, respect that. And it's just been fun, man. Even in the loss, I think what's cool is that we can, even with the loss, like you said, Clayton, when we went into that post-game show, I was so angry. And then by the end of it, I'm laughing at Emilio, at the end of the game. I'm just saying, man, it's a great group that we've built here. And I'm really so excited that you guys get to share that with us. So
and my main thing with that is like, you control the attitude, you control the environment of the show. Like if we all came in here and had the resting blank face, right? It's not going to be a good show. And if we can't do it, then let's just don't do a show. Let's don't waste people's time. So Chris Cashwin says, Elton Jenkins looked terrible. What was his PFF grade yesterday? We showed it earlier, Chris. He was bottom 5. I know that. The starting offensive line were the worst graded players according to PFF, so not a good look. Coach Lynn points out pressure up the middle can wreck a game, also like what happened Sunday. Absolutely it can, Coach. But most of the time, you've got 3 guys to block 2 in the middle. You get those tackles there. I mean, this. You're a coach, right? The tackles are on the edge. They're on an island. That's where you want to put your best players, right? Your best blockers for the most part. Now, with that being said, going into this game, we talked about this. You guys remember earlier in the week when we were breaking down the Browns, doing the scouting report, the game plan, everything? They love to run torch stunts, and that's what they did. They kept them, and it was almost like, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I feel like everybody's on Basaccia's ass, and I honestly feel like Luke Buckus is the one that should be on the hot seat. That's just me personally. Like I feel like in the last 3 to 5 years, I haven't looked up and been like, boy, thank God we got Buckus. Me personally. And maybe I'm being too hard on him. I don't know. But you've got, how many, whatever you got there. Zach Tom is one of the best tackles in the game, right? He's paid like it now, too. You got Elton Jenkins, who's a former All-Pro left guard, now playing center for you. You spent a first-round pick on Jordan Morgan. You went out in free agency and the $77 million contract on Aaron Banks, right?
Second-round pick in Belton.
Right, exactly. So, but nobody's talking about that. But Rich Bisaccia, he's on the hot seat. It's just kind of because we've got a kick block. Because, again, low trajectory, Jordan Morgan, get blocked, whatever.
Man, that's a great point, Clay. I have not seen one iota of people calling for that, which is crazy to think about. But
and you notice I haven't said anything, Jacob. You know why? Because I don't want to be that dude.
We don't do drama here. We're not trying to do that.
3 weeks into the season. Last week we were the best team in the history of the NFL. This week we're firing everybody. What are we doing? I want to play this real quick. For those that just think we just got beat by a really bad team, listen what Brian Baldinger says, okay? First of all, look at the tweet. Nobody who has watched the Browns play defense needs any stat sheet. This is the best defense in the NFL. Just ask. This is a former NFL offensive lineman, one of the best at breaking down the tape, Brian Baldinger. Let's play this real quick.
The Browns are just relentless. This is the 4th play of the game. Here comes Malik Collins and Mason Graham
See the
inside on a
That's perfect. That's a torch.
twist. And all they do
He called it a twist. Some call it a torch. It's a TT stun is what it is.
is just smother Jordan Love. Like the pressure was relentless. Mason Graham is going to win off the edge right here. Bam. Here he comes off the edge. That's a good pass rush move. All right. He gets Jordan Love to set up, and then here comes Alex Wright to clean up. The pressure was relentless.
That specific sack, the reason he got killed off the right side, Jordan Morgan playing right tackle.
How about Aiden Huntington over here? All right. Working on Aaron Banks. Bam. He beats him inside, and here comes Miles outside. It's like a brown sandwich. Like there's just a big piece of cheese in between that sandwich.
Hey,
Like they made life tough. Like this pick stunt right here on 3rd and 6. You watch this stunt, this is how you do it. Malik Collins, bam. Here comes
that's a TT pick right there, baby.
Mason Graham. And Jordan Love steps up into that brown sand.
Some of y'all are going, Mason Graham sounds familiar. You guys remember him in the draft? I think he was the top defensive tackle on our draft board. Let me double check here real quick. I don't want to tell y'all wrong, man. I got so much stuff stacked on.
Yeah, Graham looked great. Collins looked great. I mean, every single person that they put up there, I believe in Baldy. Like you said, the guy knows freaking ball. What is he at, Clayton?
Mason Graham, the best defensive tackle on our board right here, right? A grade of 3.1. We had him as a top 3 pick. So just another – and again, you got a bad organization that probably – I think everybody would say, man, the Browns need a quarterback. They need a receiver. They didn't know. They're building it from the ground back up. 3 tech. In this case, Mason Graham probably playing a little more 1 than 3, but nonetheless, a defensive tackle. Build it in the trenches.
Sandwich right there. And 3rd and 1, last play of the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 1. Here we go. You watch this pressure on Jordan Love. Like, here it comes. He's got – watch Schlesinger come. Watch him come. He's everywhere. Schlesinger and Graham are everywhere.
Great.
They take him down for an 11-yard sack, and then really they shut down the run again. Relentless pressure. I mean, Josh Jacobs had 16 carries for 30 yards, under 2 yards a carry. It's like what they did.
So there's a 24, right? That's a 24 zone right.
Derrick Henry last week. Here comes Myles Garrett here from the backside. They squeeze everything. They don't give you any room. No daylight. Browns is the best defense in football.
But Hambubger749 on Twitter told me we got beat by a bad team. Anyway, what the hell is what does Baldy know? I'm listening to Hambubger, right? So anyway, yeah, completely agree there. Not so cool. Should have threw that ball away. It was a debacle from the point that they decided to snap the ball there rather than let the clock run out in the 3rd quarter. It was like we were losing by 14 or something. Like, yeah, we need to get a playoff here. What are we doing? And then he should have threw the ball away. I'm with you, man. I would much rather seen a run there. If you get stuffed and punted away and then they go down the field and score, hey, I can live with that. I can't live with us outsmarting ourselves. So, anyway. Anything else, Jacob? Let's get out of here.
No, man. I mean, I love Respect Oranges. Thank goodness the Browns organization can't get their poop together. Love that. Love that. And then, honestly, like another comment right here, just to put a cap on it. 12 for this. Nothing like Captain Hindsight.
The worst.
And that's not labeled at anyone specifically. That just we all sit here as Monday morning quarterbacks, GMs of our Madden roster and all that, and we all think that we could do better. It's different when you're in there in the heat of the moment, the thick of the game, all that kind of stuff. It is what it is, man. We got, you know what? I think that I believed, and I believe you did too, Clayton, that going into week 4 we'd be 2-1. We are. It just didn't happen the way that we thought, and people need to take a step back, right? And so let's chill. We beat 2 of the best teams in the NFL. I still believe that, and we had a dogfight with one of what I believe, like Baldy said, probably the best defense in the NFL. So let's take a grain of salt and let's move forward.
Yeah, let's go Bears in the chat says any given Sunday is the same for a reason. Amen. You know what I will say about the Bears fans? We'll wrap up. I expected them to be dogging on us this week. But I think they've gotten off to such a slow start that they were like, I ain't saying nothing. And Packer fans simmered down a lot after the Browns beat them. So everybody's just like, all right, well, we all need to calm down here and say, just like the Lions. We kicked the Lions' ass week 1, right? No problem. And then they turn around and boat race the Bears. And the Bears come back and boat race the Cowboys. Everybody's just like, let's all go back to our corners and think about this for a minute.
Hey, respect to you. Let's go Bears. That's the nicest Bears fan I've seen in the chat ever. So you're welcome to watch our stream anytime, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, we're out of here, guys. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you hanging out. Those are your PFF grades and just a little extra, man. Listen, that was fun talking with the chat. We appreciate y'all being so active and vocal in here. If you're new here tonight, you're sitting back not commenting, going, man, I don't know what they. If you like what we did tonight, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified every time we go live. Tomorrow's a fun one, guys. We're gonna be doing Chalk Talk tomorrow. We'll bring you about a 40-minute segment on the first half, breaking down a little Cowboys outlook, and then on the second half, in the second hour, we'll jump into the tape. We'll show you what happened, why did it happen against Cleveland. We'll go in depth with the play calls and show you some good, show you some bad, and we'll laugh along the way as well. So Bates says, appreciate it, Clay and Jacob. Go Pack, go. Thank you, Bates. Appreciate you. Everybody in the chat. Thanks, Coach. You guys are awesome. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and we're Ravens fans tonight, baby. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Go.
Here we go.
We're out.
Bye, guys.